Listen up, clowns, here's how it's gonna go. I take two Sonic characters from a random generator, then I draw a fusion of them. It's about to get wild in here. Sonic Fusions! Honey the Cat and Knuckles the Echidna. And already we're going the and Knuckles route. I swear this wasn't planned. The initial phase of this design was to combine the hairstyles of Honey and Knuckles. Since Honey's hair is normally a different color than the rest of her fur, I had this fusion have red hair to accompany yellow fur. I also had the idea to combine Honey's cutesy disposition with Knuckles' tough guy shtick. While I was at it, I incorporated Knuckles' not Nike symbol and put it onto Honey's dress. Can't forget about the Lego-looking doodads on Knuckles' shoes now, can we? I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up Honey's origins as a character from the arcade game Fighting Vipers. The game ran on the same engine as Virtua Fighter 2 and, later on, Sonic the Fighters. That being the Sega Model 2 hardware. I've seen some people mistakenly believe that Honey was a character from the Archie comics, when in reality she was originally going to be in Sonic the Fighters, was hidden away deep within the code, but then reinserted in later releases of the game. Speaking of characters being hidden in game codes, apparently Sonic and Tails themselves were hidden within the code of Fighting Vipers. They're actually fully playable if you do a bit of hacking. Something you may notice here is that I put a lot of fuss into the line art of these art pieces. I don't know, maybe that's normal. I want it to look good, damn it! Gotta properly capture those big muscular arms, you know? By the way, if you guys want to have a slightly easier time playing Sonic the Fighters, play as Fang. He's a bit of a cheesy boy. That cork gun of his does wonders. I suppose you could play as Metal Sonic in the newer releases of the game, but we have a word for that. It's called cheating. Fang may be a cheesy boy, but at least he's one of the characters the original developers intended to be playable. The big reason Metal Sonic's even cheesier is because he's meant to be a quarter-sucking boss character. After all, that's why whenever there's a Sonic the Fighters tournament at some convention or something, Metal Sonic is never a tournament-sanctioned character. Of course, neither is Honey the Cat, but I digress. Of course, I could imagine a lot of online players wanting to play as Metal Sonic, just like how a lot of online players like to play as Akuma in Street Fighter games. What the hell? I could understand playing as Akuma if you're just playing by yourself at the arcade, but online, man, that just makes it not so fun, man. Getting back on subject, it was at this point in the art piece where I suddenly discovered that I was kinda giving the fusion McDonald's colors, mainly in the face and hair. I started to experiment with the colors on the dress because I felt it would have been redundant with the red hair and the red shoes. Eventually I settled on green, the color of Knuckles' socks. That and the color green makes the dress slightly reminiscent of the Master Emerald. I also put some more of those not Nike symbols on the skirt of the dress, just so it's not too plain looking and just different enough from Honey's dress design. I also like to shade my whites with light blue instead of gray to keep things more vibrant. And on that note, we are just about done. I really like how cute this one came out. A combination of tough and sweet. I think it's time we see which two characters are next in this little fusion experiment of mine. Tangle the Lemur and Sally Acorn. Alright, a couple of iconic ladies from Sonic IDW and Sonic Archie. This ought to be interesting. Confession time, this was actually the drawing I was recording first. Unfortunately, I was doing this work at a place where there are no electrical outlets, meaning I was working from my laptop on battery. Towards the end of the recording, the battery died. I managed to salvage the recording, but there are a few visual glitches throughout, so keep that in mind. The moral of the story is, do laptop work where there are electrical outlets, especially long video recordings. For this fusion, I combined Tangle's energy and Sally's majesticness. I don't care if that's not a word, shut up. Now, some of you may be asking why I gave this fusion big titties. To which I have to reply, have you read the Sonic Archie comics? Particularly the pre-Super Genesis Wave stuff. A lot of artists were pretty deliberate the way they drew her. Also, I may have been influenced by Jamo art stuff. Those of you who've been to my DeviantArt and Fur Affinity accounts know that this kind of art isn't anything new for me. I don't really have a problem with how Sally was redesigned in the post-Super Genesis era of the comics. People like to fling back and forth conspiracy theories on some kind of agenda with the redesign, but really it's just Sega's creative mandates. Nothing more, nothing less. Speaking of both Sonic IDW and Sonic Archie, I am making an effort to catch up on them both. Well, I say catch up, but Sonic Archie does eventually end. Abruptly, but still. But enough about that, this creation is finished. And if I do say so myself, she looks marvelous. Alright, last fusion. Storm the Albatross and Charmy Bee. Oh boy, this is a weird one. We got an age gap and a size difference. Also, combining anything with a bee is pretty out there, especially with how much of a meme animal bees are. For the pose, I've combined Charmy's energy and Storm's strength. I will say in advance, most of the color scheme is from Charmy. I mean, the yellow and black stripes is quite the spectacle, let's be honest. I will let this fusion have Storm's chest feathers so he can be a nice big fluffy boy. Since Charmy is here, I'm just gonna say, Sega needs to re-release Knuckles Chaotix already. There haven't been any releases of the game since the original 1995 release on the 32X. It's not like the game's hard to emulate or anything. In fact, quite the opposite. It's super easy to emulate. In fact, why doesn't Sega put a bunch of 32X games on a compilation disc of some kind? They did the same thing with the Sega Genesis a million times. I think it's long overdue that the 32X had the same kind of treatment. Yes, not all 32X games were good, but not all were bad either. I mean, why not? We got a compilation of Neo Geo Pocket games on the Switch. And while we're at it, how about re-releasing Sonic Pocket Adventure 2, just for giggles? Also, maybe do re-releases of all the GameCube/PS2 era Sonic games too. I mean, Sonic Heroes was on PC once, why not bring it back? And that goes for Sonic Riders too. And then you got modern era games that never got a PC release, like Sonic Unleashed. People have been dying for a re-release of that for ages. Yeah, it's kinda weird how people said Sonic was going through a rough patch up till Sonic Mania. There were clearly a bunch of games during the 4Kids era that a lot of people miss and would like to see come back. With a couple exceptions, of course. Ones that people have been memeing about ever since they came out, and are still memeing about. Because apparently a horse can get deader if you kick it hard enough. Now, while I am glad that the Babylon Groves got a couple of mentions in Sonic Frontiers, I think it would be nice if they made an appearance in a main series game and not just within the Sonic Riders series of spin-off games. I mean, they've got potential, no need to limit them. Hell, the IDW comics proved that the Babylon Rogues could be incorporated in a big, important story of some kind. Just look at the Metal Virus story arc. Now, am I using this video's commentary to spout my opinions of the Sonic franchise? You bet your sweet Bippy I am. But if we could take just a moment to talk about the art, look at this big silly goober I'm drawing, I love him. I suppose I ought to talk about Sonic Superstars now that it's out. Bottom line, I love it, and if you're a fan of classic style Sonic, you should go play it yourself. I dare not spoil a damn thing. And in case you guys are wondering, yes, I did pre-order it and get all the goodies that came with it. Those of you who have watched through all my American Ball Sonic videos would know this. Yes, there's more American Ball Sonic coming in the future. They're easy to make, they make you guys happy, they make me happy, bada bing bada boom. Ball Sonic's not going anywhere. And on that note, we are pretty much done with this fusion of Storm the Albatross and Charmy Bee. This whole Sonic fusion thing was a pretty fun experiment to do, and if you guys like it, let me know and I'll make some more. Of course, I might make more anyway, but leaving comments helps the YouTube algorithm, you know what I'm saying? And if you like this video, you might like my cartoons even better. And maybe my aforementioned American Ball Sonic videos. So yeah, check out the rest of my channel if you please. Oh, and while you're at it, be a dear and hit that subscribe button, maybe also the bell icon so you can be notified for, you know, future uploads and stuff. And of course, leave a like and a comment. And of course, I should mention that I have art commissions available. Information to that is linked in the description. Anyway, I hope you had as much fun as I did, so, yeah. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye!